Okay. Hey Sam, welcome back. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm great. How's this week been going?
This week's actually been going surprisingly well.
Yeah?
Mhm.
You want to tell me a bit more about that?
I've just stayed pretty busy this week. I went to work and I've just been out a lot more. Typically I'm just in my house a lot, hanging out by myself, but I've been out a lot this week, so
Yeah?
it's pretty good.
You've been going out, like hanging out with friends or?
No, not really so much. Just because obviously I'm trying to keep in sobriety for these meetings, and my friends don't really reflect that right now. But I've been going to I went to a GED class, so I've had that and just working and everything.
That's awesome. How'd that go?
It went really good. I was really nervous to go and pretty uncomfortable. But I wanted to give it a try before we met back in case I realized I just really didn't want to. And a guy sat next to me and we get along really well, so it made it pretty enjoyable. I'm excited to go back.
That's great. I think that you should definitely acknowledge that you were facing your fears and that you pushed yourself to do something that was uncomfortable, and that is not an easy thing to do. So you should definitely be proud of yourself for taking those steps. That's really great. I am excited for you. So do you think that you'll go back next week?
Yeah, I do. Hopefully it won't just be a one time a week occurrence. Just because I don't want it to extend the time it takes me to get the GED. I enjoy the classes, but I would like it to be so I can work around people my age and stuff like that, because that reminded me how much I miss that.
That's awesome. Great. Well, that is great that you're making that progress and taking those steps.
Mm-hmm.
How's your pain been going?
It's been okay. Obviously, it's kind of hard to deal with not using and being in pain. So that's probably been the only thing that I've been struggling with this week is how am I managing this without using. So that's kind of sucked, especially if the weather's bad or anything. That doesn't make it any easier.
I see. I definitely understand that. I know that it's something that you've had and you've grown a habit towards using that as a coping mechanism with your pain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely not an easy thing to break. So I think that you should acknowledge that you're doing something hard and give yourself some grace and understanding that what you're doing isn't just, some easy thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you're putting in the work and that you're going to see results from that. And so, although in the moment it might not feel like it's worth it or like it's easy, but you are definitely putting in the work for your future self, because it's going to be best for you in the long run. That's actually what I wanted to discuss today. I know that we had discussed your goals, and obviously getting your pain management under control has been our biggest goal before we can kind of attack the other things. I think that getting your pain management plan in motion is going to be your biggest thing to accomplish, and it sounds like that is, from what I understand, that was your biggest concern.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I wanted to kind of discuss a bit more in depth the alcohol and marijuana use. That is why I got called into your case. That was your doctor's biggest concern. Obviously, they can't start prescribing you pain medication until they know that the self-medicating is under control, which I definitely feel like you're taking the right steps and that this is a priority in your life. So I feel like you are willing to work for yourself. And so I don't have a fear about you taking the reins and taking control of your life. From all of the discussions that I've had, you are very strength-based and you're willing to put in this work for yourself, which is great. You're starting off on a great foot. A couple of things, as a social worker, it's kind of my job to educate you on self-medication and why it's important that you don't fall back into that once you get yourself out of it. It sounds like you've already started trying to stop. using self-medication. How's that been going for you?
It's been going good. I'm not using, but obviously, like, cutting stuff out of your life, even though I'm not using, I wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, I feel so much better. I'm in pain, I'm irritable, and I think that's why getting out of the house was so important to me too, is because my parents, their involvement in it has made it that much worse. Just because this is something that I like appreciate the support for, but like they don't necessarily understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And then constantly asking me if I'm following the plan or if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, to me, that's just like, you can't have faith that I understand what I need to do, and it's important to me that I do it, so I am. So that's been kind of stressful, but I've just been trying not to hang out with friends and stuff like that. I definitely still think about it, like, quite a bit. It's on my mind, but other than that, it's been okay.
Okay, that is completely understandable. I think that your want to be independent, and you're doing this for yourself, you're putting in the work, and you just want people to acknowledge that is fair. It's definitely, I think that your parents are coming out of a place, it sounds like, that they want to support you, which is an advantage for you. You have a support system, and that's something to acknowledge. Have you discussed with them how it makes you feel whenever they like try to micromanage you on that?
I mean, we don't have very like formal sit downs, but like when we're like in the kitchen or doing something, they'll kind of try to bring it up like in a way that makes it seem like I won't notice, like they're undermining my ability to pay attention to those details of what they're saying, which, I mean, not only makes me feel very young when I feel like that doesn't really reflect my mindset and what I've been through, but I don't want them to feel, like you said, like, I know they're trying to support me, I don't want them to feel bad, but also, like, I feel like they can have some sense of faith that if I didn't want to do this, I could own up and go, I don't want to do it.
Do you feel like you've communicated that with them?
I've definitely tried to, but I'm trying to tread lightly with them, especially right now. Like, they obviously weren't very happy to find out that I had been using, I was keeping it from them. So I don't like bringing it up if I don't really have to.
Okay. I can understand your hesitation there. I think that if you want them to play the supporting role that you need from them, that everybody's just human, you know? So they're trying to support you in the way that they feel like they're supporting you, and unless you allow them to play the supporting role that you need from them by expressing to them what you need, I don't think that they're going to be able to step into that role. Which you might not feel comfortable doing that, but I would encourage you to try to express how it makes you feel, and express to them that this is important to you and this is something that you want to do for yourself, and then see if that helps at all with that situation. Again, you're an adult and you don't have to do that, but that would just be my advice as far as that relationship goes. I know that you said that you are trying to wean off of the medication, the alcohol, and the marijuana, but that you're still thinking about a lot, you're still having those cravings. I do think it's important for you to remember that the alcohol and marijuana might feel good right now in the moment, but over time it interferes with your sleep, it'll interfere with your healing, and it changes your mood. So your body might just be regulating back to how it is, you know, like you are coming off of being used to having those in your body and in your system, and your body's, whoa, we're used to having, 3 beers a day, and now we don't have that. You know, like I'm used to going to sleep with the help of marijuana, and now I don't have that, so I know that you're detoxing right now, and it feels like, whoa, there's all these changes happening, but in the long run, like those things were affecting your sleep, were affecting your health, your pain, and I think that you'll be able to see that after you've gone through this time. And coming off of substance use isn't easy. I mean, like, that's why they have things like NA and AA, and that's definitely something, if you feel like you need some support or you need some people to talk to that understand what you're going through, we can find something like that for you.
Okay.
So if that's ever something that you want to look into, just talk to me about it, and I will be more than happy to give you some assistance with that. It's important to know that your doctor is worried about the substance abuse because of your age. I mean, like, you're only 18, your body's still developing, your brain's still developing, so it can alter your, you know, your decision making and all of that stuff, more than it would somebody whose brain is fully developed, so at the age of 25. And then, you know, it's super important, you're underage, so it's illegal, so, you know, you've got that aspect. But other than that, it's also something that if we do get you started, or when we do get you started on your pain management plan, with pain meds, if you were to start using substance, it would interfere with how this pain management medication was affecting your body. And then I think that is why the, you know, bi-weekly UAs is going to be important, so that your doctor knows, hey, you know, what I'm telling you about my pain is my pain. It's not, you know, the substances that are interfering with that. So they'll feel confident doing that. Do you feel like you have a good understanding of all of the, you know, dangers and effects of the alcohol and marijuana use?
Yeah, I realized that I didn't really before, but after talking to you and talking to my doctors and everything, I never really considered the way it would make my pain feel different, and that I'm not how I normally am, because I guess I didn't really notice as time went on. I was like, oh, that's just who I am. But I would say now that I'm more aware of who I am without it than who I was on it, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think that the effect that you saw when you were socializing in your GED class was something that you were experiencing because you weren't under the influences of substances?
Yeah, I think I was more attentive to the conversation, and I was more invested in it going well, because when I'm under the influence, to me, it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to remember, I just don't really care, which I think everyone told me I was just very laid back and relaxed guy, and then I'm realizing now that maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's just because, like, I really wasn't thinking clearly or really allowing myself to be there in the way that I wanted.
That's awesome that you're seeing the effects of that. It's really great. How did you feel about keeping that daily pain log? Did you attempt that at all, or?
I did attempt it a couple times, just to, like, try to keep track of it the best that I could. I just don't really know exactly what you're looking for. I think another way is there's no, like, I can come in here and, like, even talking to doctors, I'm like, well, I feel bad and it hurts, but I don't know how to describe and, like, conceptualize the way it's actually, like, affecting my life. Like, I don't know how to, like, actualize this for you guys in a way that you'll understand what this is like for me and maybe understand why I choose to use.
Okay, yeah, no, that's great. That's actually really good feedback. After I had finished discussing with you and setting those goals with you last week, I was thinking about, I kind of asked you to do this, but I didn't really give you a lot of direction on it. So before meeting with you today, I put together a couple of options for that daily pain log that we could try. You could do either of these, or you could, you know, change it a little bit so that it fits you better. We can discuss that together as we work through these. But these were just a couple of things that I've used with clients in the past. One of them is a little bit more in-depth, a little bit more complicated, I guess you could say. It requires a bit more information from you. If you are looking to do something that is a bit more than what we're asking, I mean, you're definitely welcome to do this one. It's like a daily reflection. So you would put the date at the top, and then down here you would put today my pain is, and then you would scale it on a 1 to 10. One's being like, today was a great day, I didn't have any pain, I got through everything great, you know, like, life is great, my day was great. And then a 10 being like, this is the absolute worst pain that I've ever felt in my entire life. I don't know if I can do anything, you know, like I couldn't get out of bed. I didn't want to be doing, you know, I didn't want to do life today kind of pain. And so rate that on that scale of 1 to 10, and then explain why. Be like, my back was really hurting, or it was sore, or it was like throbbing, or, you know, try to put some sort of, express a little bit of what was going on. And then more than that, you could put, today I am feeling, and then try to express how that pain made you feel. I didn't have any pain today, my day was great. Or I had a lot of pain today, I really struggled, I was craving, you know, marijuana, or like put your real struggles, what you're dealing with during that day, what it looked like for you. Put whatever feelings you're feeling. I mean, like, this is for your reflections. This also is so that the doctor can look back at it and see the progress, and, you know, like, we can all, your team can look at it and see how it's doing, but we want you to be your authentic self. So if today was like, I couldn't do today, and that's how it was, then you could express that. You could note, you know, what was good about the day, what was bad, oh yeah, I did this today and that was really great, that really made me feel better. You know, I fell into thinking about smoking a lot of marijuana today. I don't want to do that. You know, I need to prioritize doing something else. You can put that there, and then what kind of places you want to be focusing your energy at. Again, that's kind of a lot of information. As far as getting your pain management plan set up, we don't need all of this, but if you want to try to put more of your thoughts and your feelings and put more time into self-reflecting, a lot of people say that it does great things for grounding them and giving them a space to write out all of their emotions and how they're feeling. And you're welcome to use this kind of layout. If you're like, listen lady, I'm an 18-year-old kid, I don't have time to be doing all this stuff, that's kind of overcomplicated. This is more of like, plain and simple, this is what I need, this is the bare minimum of what we're expecting. So if you want to keep a journal, and I've got journals in my office, if you don't have one at home, I can go grab one for you. We just need the date, and I want you to do at least one a day. If you're like, hey, this morning I was really feeling a lot of pain, but this afternoon it got better, and you want to do 2 entries that day, then that's great. If you want to leave it to just one a day, that's great too. So just put the date, and then pain level on the scale from 1 to 10, where it hurts, and then what triggered the pain, if anything triggered it. If you're like, hey, I did this and that, like, I bent over this way and that really made my back hurt, I noticed that, then great, write it down. If you don't know what triggered it, or if nothing triggered it, you just woke up in pain, or, you know, then you can put that, or you can put NA. And then what helped make it better, if you found anything that helped make it better, other than self-medicating, of course, then you could write that there. And then mood at the time, and just do one word. Angry, happy, excited, you know, like, just jot that down. It doesn't have to be too complicated, just one word that really sums up exactly how you're feeling. And then that's all your need, but I do want you to do this at least once a day. So you can take both of those home, and then I just want you to bring me that log every week whenever I meet with you, and I want you to bring it to your doctor's appointments. So I have record of it, and your doctor has record of it. And that just helps. When it helps doctors see, like, I'm taking my pain seriously, I'm putting my work into this, like, you can tell how I'm feeling, and we can see the progress that's being made, and it shows you where you're at, you know, and it helps you realize this is how I'm feeling, and it helps you vocalize and feel like you have a voice and you're being heard, which is very important. You're taking control of your own health, and you're doing it for yourself. So, and then how do you feel? How do you feel about that? Do you have any questions? Do you want me to explain anything more? Is there anything I can?
I don't think so. I think I might just have to switch back and forth between them.
Okay.
Just till I know what works best, or I mean, what maybe. Cause I mean, this sounds really good, but I can't promise that I'll commit to this and not be like, yeah, she was right. I don't want to do this every day. This is kind of dumb, and then switch to the more simple one.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like asking what triggered it and maybe getting a time too, because I feel like my pain does change in the evenings versus like how I feel when I wake up during the day.
Yeah. That would be great. And if you can notice those changes, that's awesome. Any information that you want to give to help narrow down what's going on is great. And this will help you learn more about your body too, because when you come more in tune with your body, it helps figuring out what's going on and how to diagnose it so much more, you know?
Yeah.
And then absolutely, like, figure out what works best for you. That's great. That is taking control of your life and getting done what needs to be done. And so that's really great. And then after that, the only other thing that I really, think would be great and I want you to do is to attend each of your doctor's visits and share this with him, help him understand the pain that you're feeling. And then that is you advocating for yourself. That's you advocating for your pain, and that gives your doctor the room to step in and do his job, do what he needs to do. And I think that you doing those bi-weekly UAs that we talked about, and proving to him, like, I'm serious about this, I stopped the substance use, I want you to take my pain seriously. I think that we're gonna be able to get a plan started for you and start seeing some real results.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think, I don't know, I obviously am not a huge fan of the doctors, but I do understand why we're doing it, and hopefully you're right, and this will give me the help that I really know that I want and need. So.
Have you experienced any differences in your doctor's appointment last week?
It was obviously better, like, there was more interaction because I was sober, which I wasn't when I first met with him. So there was a little bit more interaction. I was able to take what he was saying to me a little bit more seriously. So,
that's great.
That was nice to understand the way that changed, but, I think right now it feels like the same thing, like with my parents. Everyone's trying to like test and see like how committed I am. So it's like kind of dancing around, like, okay, is this serious, or like, are you just saying that? So I think right now it just feels like I'm trying to prove to him that I am serious, and like I do want this to be over just the same way he does.
And how does that make you feel that they don't think that this is serious? Do you think that there is any sort of validity in what they're saying?
I mean, I'm only 18, so I kind of get that sometimes, like it says, like, an 18-year-old can say that they're doing one thing but be doing the other. Like I said before, I don't appreciate it just for the simple fact of, like, I've been through this thing, I continue to go through it, and it makes me feel much older. I don't feel like I have that part of my life anymore, and I'm moving into a different stage, so I wish that everyone took me seriously, but, like, outside looking in, I get why they don't. I probably wouldn't take me very serious either, or at least I would be skeptical. Not that it's like, oh, you're kidding, but like, hey, like, are you sure that this is what you're experiencing, or like, could it be something else? So, I mean, I get it. Hopefully it just gets better with time. I mean, if it does, then that'll tell me all I need to know.
It sounds like it feels like you have to work twice as hard for something that, like, you're just going through this for the first time, you know? Like, you've been dealing with this pain on your own, and you dealt with it. You found a system that you thought was working, and they told you that's not working, and then you switched and you're trying to do what they're saying, but then they're, you're like, well, are you really doing that? And so I can understand how that's frustrating. If you want to, I think that it's something that I would do is kind of keep a mental note as to, well, they made me feel this way on my first appointment. I remember you saying that you felt embarrassed about having to talk to me about the dirty way, you know, and you felt embarrassed having to have that discussion with your parents. And so recognizing like that's how I was feeling then. And then how do you feel, you know, this time? Like you sound like you have more confidence. You were excited about socializing. I think it's important, especially whenever there's people around you being like, well, is he really taking this seriously? Is he really putting in the work? Is he really gonna do this? Like that's hard. Having that negative talk in your life is hard. But I think it's important for you to recognize like, that's how I was feeling and look at the growth that I've made. And it's been 2 weeks, you know? You've made tremendous growth in 2 weeks and you're seriously putting in the work, putting in the effort. And I think that the people around you are going to recognize that and they're going to be able to see that and support you in that. But you have to recognize it for yourself also. That's important too. So I think that you should take a mental note and be like, that's how I felt my first doctor's appointment. That's how I felt last week, you know, and go into it. Like, how did I feel, you know, next week? And be able to take, give yourself like a round of applause when needed and be like, you know, this week was hard. And be able to kind of think about those things.
Yeah.
But I think that we have a really good start. How do you feel? Do you feel like the plan is good? Do you feel comfortable with everything that we talked about?
Yeah. I feel like everything that we talked about today is doable. So I feel pretty confident in it getting done and how it will work.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to meet with you next week. I'm excited to see how your daily reflections are going and to hear about how your doctor's appointment went. And I'm excited to hear about how your GED classes are going. I think that's really exciting. But I feel pretty confident that we covered everything, and we will check back in next week. And then if you want to just make an appointment with the girl at the front, then we can do that, and I'll see you then.
Okay.
Thanks.